You may have seen Jack Nicholson playing strong and entertaining movies like Hava and Anger Management, but this movie from 1995 called Crossing Guard might just be one of the worst movies he has ever played in. Of course, it is not as bad as The Pledge, that might be the worst he has ever played in. But in short words, it is a pretty average movie. The movie is derailed by a lot of weaknesses, and that's what we will be talking about today. The first weakness of this movie is how you do not see this incident that the whole movie is basically about. When you never see that real time, the story becomes less powerful in this scenario. You have just fast forwarded 5 years, and suddenly John Booth, the bad guy in the story that killed a little girl of the main character in a drug driving accident, is suddenly out of jail. The second weakness is about the tension. The movie lacks tension. And of course, it is a pretty sick concept that the main character, played by Jack Nicholson, threatens to kill the drunk driver at first in the story that killed his daughter Emily, but then gives him 3 days to live before he tries again. But there are very few tense scenes between them, apart from at the beginning and a few near the ending. The third weakness in this movie is how you see the movie going into a deep direction, and it is more about how people deal with loss, grief, and guilt. The movie is in this case hefty on the dialogue, and the story feels very hollow, where there's plenty amount of talk but little amount of story to tell. Another weakness is about the performance from the main star, played by Jack Nicholson, that you feel is a bit below par in this movie. Sure, you see him a bit crazy in some cases, but you have seen him give a lot more of his performances in other movies and be a lot crazier. For example, in movies like Hava and Anger Management. Another weak point is how you see a lot of scenes done in the strip club, which is actually dazzling to get through, because it drives us away from the real purpose of this movie, which is about whether or not Jack Nicholson has the intention or will to kill the drunk driver because he wants justice for the sin he has done to him as a loving father. A further weakness in the movie comes down to how you see very few good moments with the different characters that are present here. The acting is pretty weak from everyone involved. Of course, it is naturally good when Jack Nicholson comes in and quarrels with his ex-wife and her new partner, and you see how hard he is affected by the death of his daughter, and also when he calls his ex in the middle of the night about this vivid dream he has about John Booth as a crossing guard. And of course, also the ending scenes when the man he thinks about killing the whole movie is rather spared, which then never feels like an unexpected twist either, because this character never looks like a killer. Generally, however, these good moments with the characters are few and far between, and we progress very bad towards the core point of the movie, which is just another weakness to describe, and the movie is not worth more than a 5 out of 10, guys.